now that it's filtering into there's 32 members of the National Football League who can essentially make what this is seems to be moving in a seismic direction, actually codify this thing. What might be a next step from what you're hearing, Peter?
I think there are some players that want, and I'm probably overstating this, who want some sort of satisfaction on Colin Kaepernick. Michael Thomas, the safety for the Houston Texans, who's outspoken and very involved in social issues, on the level of a Malcolm Jenkins and a Chris Long. He very much thinks that the NFL has to make amends with Colin Kaepernick, however this is going to be done. In my opinion, I'm not saying that this ends up with Colin Kaepernick being in a uniform and helmet on opening day. I don't know what it means, but I think that there needs to be some Paris peace talks between league executives and Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, behind the scenes where nobody knows about it. I mean, you thought that
it's like I said, Rich, like I wrote in my column today about Drew Brees. Even though he's done an incredible amount for the state of Louisiana and city of New Orleans over the last 15 years, in my opinion, just my opinion, if I were him, I would do something very significant for the black community of New Orleans, like this year, or the black community of Louisiana, maybe involving education, whatever it would be. But I'd do something without cameras being there. I would just do it because you had it in your heart that you really did want to make amends, if indeed that's what he wants to do. But I'm saying it's about the same thing with Kaepernick. I just think that there is still this open sore, and without putting salve on it and putting a bandage on it, I still think that a lot of this stuff is not going to go away.
Well, I mean, and just before we move on to the actual playing of the season and the health protocols that were issued this morning about all 32 teams needing to follow when players are back in the facility. Peter King here on the Rich Eisen Show. I mean, what happened last year where Kaepernick was receiving a tryout, coming out of the blue, it was done, where nobody saw it coming. At least
right.
Most of us who follow the NFL and cover it and didn't see that coming. It was put on a ridiculously short time frame that spurred nothing but mistrust from Kaepernick's side of things, to the point where Kaepernick switched up the location of the workout last minute, which pissed off so many members of the talent evaluation community. Some of them did go to his workout. The question, what a holy heck of a mess that whole thing turned out to be. How can there be some form of trust, where, as you said, some sort of Paris peace accords, but maybe the video that the commissioner said would be the first step, and then it would have to be a gig that he wants.
Rich, I think whatever happens, it has to be done privately, at least at first. There's no good way to do this by Roger Goodell standing up to announce, I am going to have coffee with Colin Kaepernick next Tuesday at Starbucks in Midtown. I mean, he's got to reach out, in my opinion, to both him and his people and to say, can we have a conversation, off-the-record conversation, or whatever it would be? Can we just have a conversation? Of course, everything that has happened is spawned mistrust between both sides. We all know that. So, and maybe there's nothing that can be done. All I know is that I think that, at least in my opinion, that's where step one needs to be, because there are so many players in this league right now who are still hot that Colin Kaepernick got frozen out of a job 4 years ago.